guys, how are you? So in this session, we are going to talk about the extracting the data in clusters. So basically, in today's session, what we're gonna do is when we provide a data, we have to segregate our data, or let's say we have to figure out that which points are belong to a group and which points are belong to one group and which points are belong to one group. And when we get the groups and when we get the groups from the data, we create the clusters or the groups. Both are the same meaning, like clusters or the group. So when you get the clusters or group, you have to handle those groups or clusters according to you. Like if you are doing job in the sales market or store, and you make clusters of the customers, then you have to figure out that this clusters is something like where people were buying the only the household needs thing. Like they do not buy the very expensive thing, and they buy only the things in their limit only. And there were some that who don't buy even the household things if their price were got high. If they only buy the things when the sales is when there is a sale or when there is like a discount in that. And there were also a group of people where the some people may buy anything that they want. They do not care about the this price and money. And some were like luxurious, like they don't care about their salary or income, but they want the luxurious product like protein shakes, or I don't want to figure out the products, but they want something like a higher price product. They they won't satisfy in the cheaper products. So we have to segregate. When we segregate our customers, we have to deal with them. Like if there were sale in our store, then we can target the people who purchases more products in the sale. And if the new luxurious product were came, then we can target those people, those group of people, send the SMS, or you can say the send them messages about the new luxurious product to those people who buy the luxury products. Like if the new luxury product came, some group of people will buy. So there is no point to send the update of this luxurious product to every customer. We have to send the update to those people or to those customers who buy the luxurious product. So that's how these clusters are very important to figure out that which are good or which are not. So in the starting, I just want to show you a I will make a graph so that you will understand more. Like this is the graph where we have this is the salary and this is are the expenses of a person. So a person, there can be four categories. Like there is salary is low and their expenses also low. Okay. And there are some other group of people where salary is high, but they bought only those things which are need of their lifestyle. Like they do not buy the luxurious product. They buy only those things which are need for them, like household things and food, grains, rice, soap, etc., normal things. And there are some people whose salary is also high, and they buy also uh, very expensive things. Like if a new flour is came, new wheat grain is came, which is very expensive and very good. So you can target these people. If there is sale is coming, then you can target this group of people. Like there is a sale of products in our store, so you can target these groups of people because they buy things more when there is a sale or when there is a discount. And if new luxury product, then you can target these people. Like this luxury product is came in our store, so you can send them a message like all of these people, like I we have some new luxury product, and you can check this out. But you can't send the SMS to this product about the luxury product. Like we have a new soap which cost is around 500 per soap. So you can't send those update to these peoples, because because they do not buy these soaps, do not buy the very expensive things. They buy only the household need household needs thing. So that's how this cluster is very important. Like if there is like clusters you make and you target the specific people, so it is also good for you that you only targeting the those peoples which who can buy. There is a chance, let's say new luxury product is came, and you can only give the updates to these two group, and you don't give update to these people about the luxury product. So there is no use to giving the update, because they won't buy the thing, they won't buy the luxurious thing. So you giving them update, it is no of use. And they can buy the luxury thing, but they don't know about the that in your store there is a luxury product. So that's why we have to find out the clusters. So that's why this is very important to make the to extracting the data in the form of clusters. So I will just give you a simple example. Now we will go in more deep in our today's session. So wait a second. Yeah, so let's start with our today's session. So first of all, what is clustering? Clustering is an unsupervised learning technique to extract natural groupings or labels from predefined classes and prior information. So basically, unsupervised learning technique to extract natural groupings or labels from predefined classes and the prior information. So basically, this is clustering is came under the unsupervised learning technique to extract the some information, to extract the insights from the prior information. This is an important technique to use for exploratory data analysis, EDA, to discover hidden groupings from the data. Like I just show you a graph in the previous slide. That's how that plot is very important. Like exploratory data analysis, EDA, is very important to figuring out that how many clusters, how many group we have, and how does this group is, which kind of group, under which category this group is came. So to figure out that, we used to make this exploratory data analysis. Usually I would use clustering to discover insights regarding data distributions, and feature engineering to generate new class for other algorithms. So basically I use this, like when I get the output from the clustering, like I give the data to to this clustering algorithm. I get the five groups or five clusters from that data, and I can use those five groups, make them as a five classes, and give that data of five classes and their points coordinates value to the supervised learning technique. So that's how we can also say that the output of the clustering, output of the unsupervised learning techniques, can be the input of unsupervised learning technique. Next is, how does clustering work? Given a set of objects, we would like to cluster them, divide them into a set of groups. In this visualization, we could directly see that there are few natural groupings of the dots. This is easily to visualize because we have two dimensions here, x-axis and y-axis. Therefore, we can highlight the groupings. But assume we have many dimensions. How do we use these features to cluster them into groups? So when we have a data, or you can say that when we have the given set of objects, we make cluster them, divide them into set of groups. And while we are doing the visualization for natural grouping of dots, we can easily visualize that data if we have two dimensions, like x-axis and y-axis. Let's say if I have four dimensions, or let's say if I have n number of dimensions, 10 dimensions, then how can do I visualize that there is the correct groupings or not? So that's the main question, is like, how do we use these features to cluster them into groups? So like as you can see that if we have two axes, I can cluster them 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. I can make the just 11 clusters. No, normally if I can just see them if I have the two axes, x axis and the y axis. And the clustering objectives inputs a set of objects x. This is the distance metric d, where it defines inter-object distances such as d xy equals to dy x, where xyr belongs to x. Output partitions of the object such that pdx equals to pdy if x and y belongs to the same cluster. So this notation of similarity defined by distance reminds of k nearest neighbors k and n. This means we can stop the objects inside particular clusters without any measurement of good or bad clusters. So basically this notation which we just talked here, first of all, I just want to say that the when we have the data, then the dx and dy, the coordinates are belong to x. And when we have data and x and y equals the position of their x and y are equal, then we can say that this is belongs to same clusters. And this notation is similar as the k nearest neighbor. And like without any measurement, without any doing further analysis, we can just divide our clusters of good or bad clusters. What matters is the distance function that we use to create the partitions and separate the groups. This means that the solutions tend to have high variance and are dependent on algorithm. And and it means that the groups that we make, it is only depend upon the algorithm, that how many groups can be made by this algorithm. Each clustering algorithm might be a different results of what the optimal clusters are. So according to each algorithm, there can be the n number of outputs. Like one algorithm says that there could be five clusters, another algorithm says that there could be six clusters, six optimum clusters, and another algorithm says like it there could be 10 clusters, not even five, not even seven. So and different algorithm says the different things. We are going to talk about single linked clusters, k-mean clusters, and soft clusters. So let's talk about something about them. And like we have this ungrouped data, and we have to figure out the grouping between the data, like what kind of groups we can make from this ungrouped data. And this is like single link structure. We can make two groups, like this is one group and this is another group, where we have linkage, like these two are linked, these two points are linked, these 2 points are linked, this point is linked to this and this. So that's why we can this linkage. But this points are much farther, these points are much farther, so we can't link them. Next is like k-means clustering. We can group them in such a way. And that's all or it like where we talk about the theoretical part of this clustering, that how can we make the data, how can we make the clusters from the data. First of all, what is clustering, how does clustering work, and the sum of the parameters, and how we can visualize them. Like here is a question, how do we use these features to cluster them into groups? If we have n number of dimensions, then I can just suggest you that if let's say I have 4 dimensions or 5 dimensions, then I have to visualize those clusters, like by taking first 2 dimensions, then next 2 dimensions, then next 2 dimensions. Or you can say like take the 3 dimensions, because we can visualize or make the plots by matplotlib or the seaborn library. We can plot the graphs for 3 dimensions also. So you can use these first 2 dimensions to plot them, then second 3 dimensions to plot them, then take the first, third, and fourth dimensions, and you can try this different formats to visualize them, and to check whether that are these clusters made by the algorithm is good for you, optimum for you, and on or not, or you have to change the algorithm. So that's some way that you can use. And this is like if you visualize the data in the 2D, if you visualize the data in 2 dimensions x and y, then this is how it gonna look like. And clustering objectives, how it make, and notations, some ungrouped, and linkage. If you want to think that how k-means clustering make groups in this. Then I just want to show you this, like k-means clustering make this is as first group, and this is as second group. This line should be like this, yeah, and it makes this. So k-means clusters make three groups here, and it's look like this. And let me erase this. Okay, and so that's how k-means clustering make three groups, and that's how this single linked clusters make groups. And this is the ideal case for the k-means clustering. So that's all for the theoretical session.